Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I felt like when I watched the previews that it had some real good promise. As I'm sitting there watching this episode today, I can see that promise just shredding up into a million little pieces. Let's start off with Brando. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole scene and how it can go so terribly wrong. This is what I talk about when I say promise. I don't know who fault this is. Okay. Well, that's not true. It's the show's fault. But I don't understand how you have a trained soldier. Okay. Yeah, the trained soldier just stand there while this person walks up to them and starts beep, beep, beep. I can see if this guy was Joe Schmo. Sometimes fear has a way of paralyzing you. Okay? If this was Ava or somebody else, I would understand that. I don't expect that from a guy who has did time in the service. I don't get that. Okay? This guy's literally standing. Just move on because if I dissect that any longer, I'm just gonna get pissed off. Um, And just when this person is about to finish the job because Brando's standing there like a dumbass, Christina comes out of nowhere and she starts screaming. Sonny hears that, he rushes out. Everyone rushes out soon afterwards. Christina is just in this scene extremely and over the top dramatic. Okay? You can barely understand what she's saying because she is just crying and bawling her eyes out, and I get that this is an upsetting situation to see. Okay. But it was just something about it where we were just like, it's my imagination or it's just over the top. Even for a soap opera. This just seemed like it was just over the top. Okay? So everyone comes out and Gladys comes out and Sasha comes out and Sonny's there putting pressure on Brando, and eventually the cops come in there, and once again Christina's trying to talk, but it's just nothing but mutter sounds and crying. And they get him to the hospital, and at some point he was like, "Oh, we don't have a pulse. We have a pulse or whatever." Or that's before they got to the hospital. Anyway, they get to the hospital, and you got TJ and Portia and some other people working on him, and I guess we'll just sit there and find out what happens next. But I'm gonna be honest, while everyone's sitting there on pins and needles, I'm just like the whole time I'm just like, and I remember me complaining a couple of days ago about it being a bloated cast. I think I don't know if I talked about this with James or not. I remember me sitting there talking about how it was a bloated cast, and I'm like, you know what? Listen, as much as I like everyone, I also don't really care if a couple people go. No, though I do like TJ. I mean, not TJ. Well, I like TJ. Well, though I do like Brando. Also like Chase. And also like Ben. This cast is too bloated. So, at this point, it would suck if he left, if he got killed off. But at the same time, we got too many people. Okay? We got too many damn people. That's just the truth of the matter. You know, I know some people want Sophia to come back or Lois to come back, and I'm just like, no, no, we're not going to trade Brando to get in Lois because that's just the same problem. Um, the stuff with Carly was just pointless. I, at one point it seemed like they were going to have some sort of crash or bad landing, and would have wound up seeing what would have happened, but no, no, no. They go out to an airport, and then we get stuck to watch a scene for 20 or 30 or however long with her and some older lady that's making, I guess, comments about the fact that, oh, you young people on your phones, and I'm just like, God, seriously? She never liked her time in Jackson. My whole thing is she kept going to the flight attendant or to the front desk, and they're like, oh, well, how long is it going to be? This, that, and the third. I'm like, Carly, you grew up in Florida, okay? You know how these things work when it comes to storms. And yet you're sitting there bothering her, nagging her, which, if you work in customer service, you just love dealing with people like her. Granted, she was a lot more chill than some of the other people I've had to deal with over a long period of time working at customer service, but still. She has this conversation with this older lady, and talking about her dog and her running away. I'm gonna be honest, this was just an absolute waste. Absolute waste. And the same could be said with Drew, Sam, and I can't believe I got a chorus scout. This is probably like the worst name, along with Rocco, that I've seen in a soap opera. Anyway, they age Scout up, so that's the thing now. They talk about Carly, they talk about Dante, they get over the whole awkwardness, and they're best friends or really good friends. And again, the scene just goes absolutely nowhere. uh, Curtis was sitting there talking to Portia, and Portia sitting there thinking that there's possibility that Jordan may still have feelings for her. I mean, more feelings for him. Um, because Curtis is like, the story that she told, it doesn't track. That's not who she is. She's not the type of person that just misplaced stuff. So she's like, there's something going on. They think it could be that. Um, so at some point when he talks to TJ, so he's asking these oddball questions like, so what's going on with your mom? I mean, is she dating anyone? Is she seeing anyone? Like, is she happy? What's going on? And TJ's like, where is all these questions? Where's this going? Like, what's up with that? Is she happy? Is she dating someone? I want to make sure she's not fixated on you. That's what you really want to sit there and ask. That's what you really want to sit there and ask TJ. But of course, that conversation eventually goes nowhere. Because later on, TJ and um, Portia, which is a really good question that it just came up in my head. Should TJ even really be operating on Brando? Seeing how they're really close to their friends and stuff like that, wouldn't it be? I don't want to say a conflict of interest, but like, wouldn't that just be like why wouldn't Portia? You know what? At this point, isn't it asking a bunch of questions, and I could just simply ask a much valid question. Why wasn't this episode better? And I think the last scene was with Ava and Nicholas. Nicholas went there trying to convince Ava that he didn't do it. Ava's like, your alibi doesn't really hold up. What's up with that? And she's not there thinking that Liz is covering for her because she's like, why did you lie for her? And Nicholas is like, well, I want to sit there and protect Liz because, she's been through a lot and she can't really account for everything, but I know Liz wouldn't do it. And Ava's like, yeah, I know Liz wouldn't do it either. So he's like, yeah, that's why I did it. I want to make sure they didn't, give her the third degree or anything. They get to talking, and then Nicholas is like, listen, our love for each other is real. I mean, I've been the best person, and I don't know the way he tried to describe it. I guess in his own way, he was meant trying to be real and honest. But when you basically say, well, I'm a liar and a rat, and I do some really terrible things, and it's like, how are those selling points? It's like Smith is saying, well, I can be a really bad person, and most of the time I am, but we still got something really amazing and great, right? It's like, no. No. That actually reminds me a little bit of Days, when Sarah knows who Xander is. So finding out today what he did and her being like, oh, I can't sit there and I can't be with this. It's like, no, you know exactly what kind of person that he is. And he's telling you that. But then he's like, well, you should be with me anyway because, we're good together. And this, that, and the third. It's like, no. Those reasons are reasons why you should probably stay far away from him. I don't know, maybe get with Austin or something. Let's see where that goes. That might be something. But, Ava still can't get over the fact that, you know, Nicholas being with Esme. Now, at some point, Sonny comes in. Sonny's like, yo, what's going on? And Ava's like, listen, we got to talk, this, that, and the third. Long story short, Sonny's like, I believe that you didn't try to, hurt Ava. Saying how there was an attack that went on while he was with Ava. Just double check my notes. Oh, I know I forget. There was another part. It was with Jordan and Dante. Jordan and Dante, which was another scene that didn't really seem like it went anywhere. Jordan's giving Dante advice about, not always putting work before family and relationship because, that's more or less what wound up happening to her. But to be fair, Curtis didn't really sit there and try to work on his marriage either. His foot, let's put it this way, the moment that Portia came into town, one foot was already out that relationship. Okay? One foot was already out that relationship. And everything that happened afterwards, yeah, they were bad and stuff like that, but he could have worked on it if he really wanted to. He just didn't want to, so he gave up. It was a mutual thing. If just to kind of be somewhat fair, but still, I feel like that is about it. Now, the one good thing that I saw in the previews, my guy Chad Duell is back. Okay, he's back. I couldn't take scenes with that other guy seriously. I literally, I wouldn't sit there and say I spaced out. My enthusiasm dropped every time that guy was playing Michael and talking to Willow and whatever scenes that it was going. I just didn't care. I didn't care. I just did not care. So I'm glad that Chad Duell is back. I still think that this story is just forced. I don't know where it's going. I think in a lot of ways it's kind of stupid, but I mean, at the very least, it's something. It's not completely boring. So I'll give him points for that. And with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.